Hi everyone, it's Athena here. I'm just going to do another video today in the category of my Q&A, so question and answers. I invited a lot of you guys to send in your questions about different topics that you may need help with. So one of my followers on my blog asked me to do a video on how to treat insomnia for people that have chronic complex post-traumatic stress. This is something that she herself suffers with and has just not been able to find any sort of useful techniques or coping mechanisms that will allow her to go to sleep. I've done a bit of research in regards to this, and there isn't really a lot about post-traumatic stress, insomnia related difficulties in general. However, I have found a couple of things that might be helpful in a more general way, and in this lady's case, of course, the hardest thing is with her PTSD, she is constantly still having flashbacks and nightmares, and my guess is that at night your body is just going to be in a state of hyper arousal all the time, and when that happens, you're just not going to be able to switch off. You're just not going to be able to relax enough to get to sleep. It might have been that your post-traumatic stress is related to past abuse. It might be that the abuse you suffered happened at night, and that is why your body just doesn't know how to relax. And because you can't relax, you then can't get to sleep. There are obviously the sort of well-known things about insomnia, that you have to avoid caffeine as much as possible. My suggestion would be to not drink any caffeine at all, but if you can't live without your coffee, then only have one in the morning, and make sure that you don't have any more coffees after about midday. Another thing is also alcohol. A lot of people that suffer from post-traumatic stress tend to use alcohol as a way of coping or as a way of relaxing so they can get to sleep. A little bit of alcohol is okay if you have it with your dinner, but don't have alcohol later in the evening, because this will disrupt your sleep when you do manage to get to sleep, even if it's just for an hour or two. Now, there are other tips, like having a very quiet bedroom space where there's no clutter, there's not a lot of things in there, and it is only used for sleeping. A lot of people have television in their bedroom. A lot of people have a desk in their bedroom. My suggestion would be that the more tranquil and relaxing you can make your bedroom to be, the better it will be for your sleeping, because you know that that room is only for sleeping. There's nothing else that happens. And also, if you have iPads or phones or computers, don't bring them to bed with you. Leave them in another room. Some candles might be a nice thing, or some calming music, anything at all. Maybe some music to help you meditate, or a meditation MP3 or a CD that you can listen to, where you are guided by a soft-spoken voice. Now, one of the things that I found quite relaxing when I was having trouble sleeping myself is something known as progressive muscle relaxation. Now, progressive muscle relaxation means that start off by tensing each muscle in your body. So you can start off, for instance, with your feet, and you work your way up to your head. And what you do is you tense your muscles as hard as you can, and then you release. So a good way of doing this, I would say, is that you lie down somewhere with your legs and your arms sort of spread out straight, and you start off with tensing the muscles in your feet. And this is something that the more you spend time on, the better it will be for your body, because what happens is that when your muscles are tense, then that sends your brain a signal that there's something to be tense about. But if you find a way to relax your muscles, then that sends a signal to your brain that it's time to relax. A lot of people that have insomnia tend to go to bed every night with a feeling of dread. They have all these negative thoughts in their head, and they worry that they're not going to sleep again, because this is something that has become a routine, and it's something that you're worried about every night. So there's something called systematic desensitization. Now, this is a technique which is useful for those with insomnia that have anxiety and associated negative thoughts when it is time to go to bed. They go to bed and then they can't switch off these negative thoughts. They can't switch off the anxiety. They're very alert, and again, they don't sleep. So the systematic desensitization process is when the person is asked to list all the negative thoughts that they have that are associated with sleep by a professional who does this. And then the person is asked to concentrate on pleasant thoughts that they would rather associate with their bedtime routine. And each time they do this, it's supposed to no longer be anxiety inducing. This reminds me a little bit of something known as EMDR. If this isn't something that you have heard of, then check out my other videos. There's a lot of information on there about that. And also, something that is very important is to try and set regular sleep patterns. Short-term use of sedatives is also appropriate if you really are having trouble and you have to work and you're not able to function because of lack of sleep. Then this is only a short-term solution. If you know that you have complex post-traumatic stress and you're seeing a psychiatrist or a psychologist, then you have to discuss this insomnia problem with them. And if they have any suggestions about other medications, such as antidepressants, then maybe consider doing that. The last thing I would say is that insomnia tends to be higher in women than in men, with women being 1.3 times more likely to suffer from insomnia. And lastly, what I would say is that get a physical test done. Go and have a blood test and check for hyperthyroidism or check your hormone levels, because both of these can affect your quality of sleep. So that's the end of the video today. I hope the person who asked for it found it helpful. If there's anybody out there who suffers with PTSD related insomnia, I'm really sorry that it's this horrible for you, but I hope some of these tips helped. Take care, everyone. Thanks very much for watching, and speak to you very soon.